try to share with you some of my discoveries concerning the magazine Gairm and the different ways in which it supported Scots writing. So as many of us will know, the quarterly Gairm was established in 1952 by poet and scholar Derick Thomson, who has already been mentioned several times, and author and producer Finlay J. MacDonald, whose centenary we are incidentally celebrating this year. Gairm was an all-Gaelic quarterly, and it was trying to support both Scottish political independence and to connect it with a distinct cultural and linguistic agenda. It was supporting new writing in Gaelic, Gaelic journalism. It proved to be an important platform for new users or learners of Gaelic from different parts of the world, but it was envisaging a multilingual Scotland that would offer equal provisions for Gaelic and Scots and also space for other literatures and cultures. Before I delve in, I would just like to acknowledge how helpful has the Gairm online project been for my research. It is a fantastic resource. If you don't know it, it allows us completely for free, no registration needed, to browse through all the issues of Gairm that appeared over 50 years. You can search according to authors' names, according to their places of origin, according to titles. It is a wonderful resource, and I'm really very grateful that we are able to use it for free. I've mentioned the commitment to equal provisions for Gaelic and for Scots, and one of the most remarkable manifestations of this commitment is the SNP Gaelic policy, which was drafted by a group chaired by Derick Thomson, and it was published in entirety in Gairm in 1978. And I've just translated this bit from Gaelic into English because it puts forward the idea of equality. So it argues for historical and special rights for languages that are hereditary to the country, and these are in historical order Gaelic, Scots, and English. We understand that English has won the status of the main official language of the country, but for the sake of justice and history, we propose that Gaelic, Scots, and English, the three of them, should be taken as the official languages of Scotland. These languages should be used officially in a reasonable manner, which would work equally, and promotion of Gaelic and Scots should be undertaken as they have been neglected in the official sense, and sometimes they suffer from persecution. We are not speaking of using oppression, and we do not propose returning to a romantic state when Scotland would be entirely Scots or entirely Gaelic. Promoting Scots and Gaelic should give them their defined place, for example, at ceremonies, in official literature, and in public contexts of all kinds. I think that the SNP Gaelic policy is a remarkable document. All in all, and it deserves much more attention, but I'll be moving on. The same idea was put forward by Derick Thomson in the editorials that he wrote for the magazine, especially in the late 1990s. So in 1997, he was commenting on the withering of both Scots and Gaelic after the loss of the Scottish Parliament. And in 1999, given the historical developments, he was arguing again for support for both Scots and Gaelic by the re-established Parliament. A figure of major importance in terms of links between Gaelic and Scots is Hugh MacDermid, who has already been mentioned several times, and he was somebody of special importance to Derick Thomson personally. Thomson was such a large influence on the magazine throughout, so his personal interests and preferences come across in it strongly. Also, as the side note, I'm not going to be mentioning her because she did not actually publish in the magazines, but Derick Thomson's wife, lifelong partner, Carol Galbraith, married Thomson, was not only a Gaelic singer and dancer, but also a poet who wrote in Scots, and she also won the McCash Prize at Glasgow University for her Scots writing, so I think she would definitely deserve more attention as well. But now back to Gairm and back to Hugh MacDermid, in whom Derick Thomson had a lifelong interest, and much material connected to MacDermid appeared in the quarterly over the years. including what I think is the most substantial translation of Hugh MacDiarmid into Gaelic. It's an extract from A Drunk Man Looks at the Thistle, and it was translated into Gaelic by the Reverend Ruaraidh MacDonald. The Quarterly also published essays and commemorations concerning MacDiarmid, including Sorley MacLean's review of The Drunk Man, an appreciative essay on MacDiarmid and Scottish literature by William Neal, a poem by Thomas MacShearmon, and also a commemoration by Ian MacDonald, including some pictures. Over the years, Thomson was reviewing new publications concerning MacDiarmid as they were coming out, from Duncan Glen to the new editions of MacDiarmid's poetry and letters. William Neal has already been discussed by Ian in his presentation, so I'll just add that he published 2 Gaelic essays in Gairm dealing with Gaelic in Galloway, trying to dispute some of the established ideas and prejudices that Gaelic was never spoken there. So William Neal disputes that very efficiently, and I'm glad to be able to include this delightful drawing of Neal by Jerry Mangan. And carrying on to essays by other writers, the vision of multilingual Scotland was also promoted by a writer who signed himself Seamus Adolf, probably James Adams. Not even the Gairm online team managed to find out much about him. He is apparently a learner of Gaelic. He also learned his Welsh, and he was very keen to promote the vision of Scotland where Gaelic, Scots and English can be used, and says, by the way, I don't like to read or listen to people speaking about Scots as Scots English. For sure, Scots and English are both languages from the Germanic family, but they have developed independently. Over the centuries, we took loan words from Norse, many a word from Dutch, and naturally words and phrases from Gaelic that are heard in the Scots language throughout Scotland. Scots is not a dialect of English. Scots is as different from English as Dutch is from German, and like Dutch, it is a genuine language in its own right. For this reason, we should be using 3 beautiful languages as part of our heritage, and there is one easy way to do it: through poetry. So this is my translation from James Adams's essay, and he indeed puts his ideas into practice, and the short essay is followed by 2 poems where he uses English, Scots, and Gaelic all together. If anybody has more information about who this James Adams might be, I would be very glad to hear from them. Returning back to the topic of translation from Scots into Gaelic, Gairm published an interesting assortment of these, starting from traditional tales, a traditional Scots song translated by George Campbell Hay. William Neal made translations from the poetry of Tom Hubbard, and he also made a Gaelic version of one poem by Thomas Sturdy Law. The importance of translating Burns into Gaelic has already been mentioned by Derick. So, just to concur, many of these appeared in Gairm, including translations by Valentin McConich, Mordina Mackenzie, Dolruach Páshlik, Donald McIntyre, and a writer signed as Shorastan Ducoin, George Deacon, probably. So it's quite a substantial corpus. I mentioned Derick Thomson's reviews of publications concerning Hugh MacDiarmid, but as you can see from this list, he was really keeping an eye on new publications in Scots concerning Scots over the decades. So he reviewed Billy Scott's The Mither Tongue when it was freshly out. He reviewed different publications by William Neal because they were, of course, in close touch through the Quarterly. And other translations and anthologies. Derick Thomson was not the only one who showed an interest in these. Gairm published a review by Ian Crichton-Smith on Robert Gaelic. Finlay J. MacDonald reviewed Figs and Thistles by Sidney Goodsir-Smith. And just as a digression, I've come across information that Finlay J. MacDonald made a documentary series called Poets' Places, in which he takes the viewers across Scotland, and for each place he would involve a particular poet. So in the episode about the borders, he managed to involve Hugh McDermott, and in the episode about Glasgow, he involved Tom Wright, who was also a BBC man, so they would have known each other. I would dearly like to see those, and I can also to establish what the other episodes were about. Donald Meek translated the proceedings from the conference Gaelic and Scots in Harmony. By the way, the conference volume is now available online in open access, so I think that's a great resource as well. Gairm was also trying to, promote Scots-related activities and publications by adverts, in a very practical manner. And between 1997 and 2002, when it concluded its activities, it was regularly publishing adverts for the magazine Land, so trying to bring it to the attention of potential buyers and also contributors. Some of these have been mentioned already, but just for completion's sake, Gairm the magazine was accompanied by the publishing venture Gairm Publications, which brought out, among many other volumes, the anthology Bardach na Ronjolpa and Gaelic, European Poetry in Gaelic, edited by Derick Thomson, which brought together a number of translations that appeared in Gairm over the years, but also some new ones. When it comes to translating Scots poetry into Gaelic, it featured a sonnet by Mark Alexander Boyd, translated by Thomson, and also 2 poems by Hugh McDermott, and Robin Burns, translated by Calenti MacConich. And Derick already mentioned the volume Scotland, Gael and Lowlanders, so we have heard about that. To conclude, this was just a sketch of a very rich and diverse corpus of material that appeared in the quarterly over the 50 years, and I hope that there will be possibilities to explore it further. Thank you very much.